Hey everybody, I've got some exciting news surrounding BMW's best-selling vehicle, the X5. That's right, there's a new X5, and that's a really big deal for BMW because this vehicle sells tens of thousands of units every single year. It is, like I mentioned, the best-selling BMW they make. In 2022, they sold over 82,300 BMW X5s. That is a lot of units considering it is an expensive luxury SUV. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about the important changes to the 2024 X5, talk about why it matters, and talk about whether or not it's better than the current model. Now, this is a pretty major refresh of the X5 for the 2024 model year. This current generation, the fourth generation, was introduced back in 2018. So it's going on 5 years old or so, 4.5 years old. I think it came out in June or was revealed in June of 2018. And it was a big substantial improvement over the previous generation. And for 2024, we're seeing some big improvements over the current generation. So let's talk about it. Now, the design is improved. It is not radically different. I don't think BMW wants to mess with success too much from a design standpoint on this X5. And one interesting thing is it doesn't get the new split headlight design from the X7. So its big brother, the X7, was recently refreshed as well, and it has this pretty polarizing stacked headlight design where the running light and the main beam are actually separate. The X5 retains a singular unit for both the running light, the main beam, and the high beam, and I think it looks great. They also haven't gone too crazy with the kidney grille, so in recent years, BMW has been criticized for going with these massive kidney grills. Some folks call them beaver teeth, but on the X5, the 2024 model, it's got this really elegant look. I love the combination of the thinner headlights with the squared off kidneys. It's fantastic, and actually the bumper design has been changed as well. So we have a new lower front fascia, which is sandwiched in between these two vents. And these new vents send air around the fenders to improve drag efficiency. Other changes on the front end here is you can now get an illuminated grille on the 40 model as well as the plug-in hybrid model, which is very cool. There's also an optional M Sport package on the X5, which is standard on the X6. The X6 has received a similar facelift, but we're going to focus more on the X5 because that is the higher selling of the two. Now that M Sport model gives you black trim throughout. It gives you quad exhausts, and on the X6 it gives you that little spoiler in the back. Those are the main visual differences. Now the rear of the X5 model also gets a new taillight design, a little bit more intricate. I think it looks pretty cool. I love kind of the way that these two lines interact with each other throughout the taillights. It's a pretty cool looking design. Now, as we step inside these vehicles, we also see a lot of improvements on the interior. So the overall dash layout has been simplified. It looks to be kind of less cluttered, but much larger screen. So first of all, the shifter has been replaced by this simple little toggle device. So the current one has this little shifter that sticks up a couple inches to select the gear. Now they've gone to a toggle, and the interior features a new curved display similar to other brand new BMW models. Now it actually incorporates two different screens, a 12.3-inch gauge cluster screen and a 14.9-inch touchscreen display. It looks great in this vehicle. I've experienced this in other BMW models, and sometimes it looks a little overdone for the interior, but on the X5, it's a large vehicle, it's a large cockpit, and having those screens there is fantastic. The curved display is very good, and I've used the latest generation of BMW iDrive, and it is very, very good. It's a big improvement over some of the previous generations. Now, let's continue and talk about the seats, because the X5 features new vegan animal-free leather called Sensafirm. So if you are a fan of like leather materials, but you want to be a little bit more conscious about the impact that has on the environment, there's a new vegan animal-free leather, which is cool. But a lot of the big changes to the X5 actually come in regards to the powertrain. So there are still 3 powertrains in the non-M model. We'll talk about the M models here in a second. There's an inline 6-cylinder, there's a V8, and there's also a plug-in hybrid. Now, the inline 6-cylinder, the standard car, sees a big horsepower bump. 335 horsepower up to 375 horsepower. So the base car is a whopping 40 more horsepower, and torque is even more improved, 330 pound-feet up to 398. That is a big bump in torque. Really exciting to see. Now, I'm actually pretty excited to say that I have a lot of experience with the 4th generation of the X5 because my mom owns one personally, and I spent a lot of miles behind the wheel of that vehicle, and Even the current 3-liter inline 6 with that turbo is a fantastic powertrain, incredibly smooth, incredibly responsive, and delivers a lot of power regardless of where you are in the rev range. It's a super fun engine, so I'm excited to say even the standard car gets a big horsepower update. Now let's talk about that big twin turbo V8, that 4.4 liter. Well, same power as last year, however, it does have a new name. So it was the M50i, and now it's the M60i, and both of those powertrains do feature mild hybrid capability with that integrated starter motor generator in the vehicle. Now, the vehicle I'm really excited about is actually the plug-in hybrid. So it's currently available. It's called the xDrive 45e, but for 2024, the 45 has been changed to a 50. So this is the xDrive 50e, and it's got a huge power bump over the current model year. 483 horsepower of combined output now. That's almost 100 horsepower more. Now, they've revised the 3-liter turbocharged engine to run on what they call a Miller cycle, and it also incorporates a much more powerful electric motor. But almost 500 horsepower out of the plug-in hybrid is truly awesome. And actually, that's kind of approaching what you would get in the V8 powered model, which is super cool. Now, it also has more range. So not only is it more powerful, but a pretty significant uptake in range. So 25.7 kilowatt hours are usable in the battery, and they're estimating an EPA range of 40 miles, which is up from 31. That's a pretty big jump of 9 miles. Now let's talk about that battery capacity. 25.7 kilowatt hours is a very large battery. When you consider that the first generation of the Nissan Leaf had a 24 kilowatt hour battery, and that was just a fully electric vehicle, and now you can get a plug-in hybrid with all-wheel drive and a turbocharged 6-cylinder with 25.7 kilowatt hours. Pretty impressive. Now, 40 miles, I think that's right around the sweet spot. When the plug-in hybrid X5 first debuted a number of years ago, it didn't have enough range. I want to say it had like under 20 miles. It's been slowly creeping up over the years. 31's pretty good. 40 is even better. The more range we can squeeze into these plug-in hybrids, the more usable they are going to be on people's commutes, right? Drive it to and from the office, plug it in at home, and get ready for that electric commute the next day. And then if you do need to go on a road trip, you've got plenty of power and plenty of torque from that 3-liter inline 6 turbocharged engine to help you along your way. Now, the X5 is also now available with a new optional highway assistant, which is a largely hands-free driving assistant for highway use. Of course, you still have to be paying attention. You can't just fall asleep, right? But really cool that they're incorporating that technology into these new models. And let's talk about the starting price. So the 40, the base model 40 still can get that vehicle in rear-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is $2,300 option, but the entry-level price, $66,195. Now that is up $3,600 compared to last year. The 50e, the plug-in hybrid, starts at $73,495, and that is up a whopping $7,000 compared to the current generation. That's a big uptick, but here's where things get interesting. Because this vehicle, I'm hoping, will be available to take advantage of that $7,500 federal tax credit. Now, the current one does, according to the IRS website, the current one is available to receive that tax credit. So I'm hoping that this one will. And I think that tax credit applies to a top MSRP of around 80 grand. So hoping that you can squeeze in 73, 74 grand and get that tax credit. That would make this vehicle much more affordable to the end user, of course, if your tax liability is great enough. And then the M60, $90,295. That's up about $4,000. Now, production of the new X5 and X6 starts in April of this year, and no word on updates to the M models, right? So we'll have more information on that here shortly, hopefully. But overall, I think BMW did exactly what they needed to do to keep the X5 and X6 competitive. More power, more EV range on the electric one, a better interior, more technology, and a slightly improved styling that's not too over the top. This thing looks like an absolute winner to me. Competitors, Mercedes GLE, right? Lots and lots in this class. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. As always, it's been Tommy with TFL Now. We'll see you in the next video.